Hello, and welcome to this stream. I'm going to do the prompt 13 called Arch in World Watercolor Month 2024. And my plan is to make this white picket fence, the arch, and then with a rub-on place a bike in front of the fence. So, yep, let's get to it. I'm thinking about a very green background to make the arch really stand out. So I might go in with a very dark coat of green. I'm working with a palette consisting of paint from Nila Colori. It's an Italian homemade brand of watercolors. I've had it for quite a while, and it's still holding up, and it still re-wets wonderfully. So it's been a joy having those handmade watercolors. I'm not big on handmade watercolors. It's not like I collect them. I only have 2 palettes. This one and then some handmade ones made by Debbie Epps. They're more like a shimmery mica consistent. And then my mother-in-law left a huge collection of pigments. She was a porcelain painter for the Royal Copenhagen Porcelain Factory, and I tried to make watercolors out of those pigments by adding some Sennelier honey binders, and yeah, it's very precious. It's a cool palette. I don't use that one a lot because I don't know, it's just something very precious. But I think I might break it out for this monthly challenge, and then at least do one prompt using those watercolors. They're like super nice to paint with. Very fine milled, nicely granular pigments in between the different colors, so I treasure it. What I got else in this palette beside the Nila Colors are Daniel Smith paints, and this green one here is one of Daniel Smith colors. I find that the handmade paints from Nila Colors is not like heavily pigmented, so it's not like you have a lot of dark colors and bright colors like phthalo, or there's like no opera pink, like anything that's, you could say, like modern dye based. So I often think of this palette as a very traditional old school palette. This is a lapis lazuli from the Nila Colori. I think that I just want to make like a blue sky and maybe darken it up a little bit in the edges and see if I can lift off some clouds. Okay, I'm gonna carry the color up around the letters up here, I think. But I love having different sorts of paint in my stash, like you know, it's just nice to have different style and different kind of watercolor. And I try to convince myself that it makes the painting experience different. For me it does. I really feel that I'm in a special mood when I paint with these old school palettes like these. So I tend to do like some different sorts of paintings with these old pigments. It's like they call for it, you know, like, because you know they got the ability to provide you with a very unique expression, because they have like the lack of all those bright and neons and modern colors. So it becomes like a more harmonious painting when you're done. And I honestly also think that it makes you revisit earth tones more. Like, I would maybe not grab so much for the earth tones in a modern palette where I got a lot of fun, convenient made paints with you know, colors that I might think is more interesting than a generic burnt sienna. But in these old Nila Colori colors, it seems like the dark umbers and the burnt siennas and ochres, various variation of red ochre to yellow ochre, is very easy for them to produce. So there is a heavy concentration of the brown colors up here, as you can see. But my plan is in my art to try and play with all the colors and do like a multicolored arch, to see if I can just play a little bit with some untraditional colors that are not like make you think about stone. Because I'm thinking this is like a stone arch. I'm still tackling along with the World of Watercolor prompts. I like them a lot. I like to work in this little journal that I got, so it helps a bunch. You know, when you have like a motivation to use a journal, like you're looking forward to it for every day to open up your little journal. It just makes the painting session that more pleasant. Okay, now for the arch itself, I think I want to put in just plump in colors first and then see if the like a quilt of a lot of colors, and then just see if I can find a common color to tie it all together, whether it's gonna be like a raw sienna color. I don't want to use gray, even though it is an arch made out of stone. Let's get in a lot of different tones here, making it more interesting. Maybe some green colors also. But yeah, I think the combination of just plotting in a lot of colors might be interesting. I feel that they glaze okay, but it's not like the best. I'm used to more modern watercolors that are a bit better to work with when it comes to glazing. So I find that some of the handmade watercolors don't like the act of glazing, so they want to lift, you know. But Nila is not the worst. The worst is the handmade I made with my mother-in-law's pigments. Oh man, they do not like to be glazed upon. So it's also why I don't use them so much, because I feel I'm wasting the pigment when I try to glaze and have to go on top and, you know, just coat a lot of things 2 or 3 times and I feel that, oh, I'm wasting the pigments. Okay, now I got like more of the underlying undertone in here. Now I think I can go in, maybe I should start softly with an ochre. This yellow. And then maybe I should mix it up a little bit with a raw sienna. I think I'll try and work a little bit fast so I keep the paper moist and don't allow it to dry so fast. Just gonna mix a little bit of blue into this step here to get some shading. But yeah, there's been a lot of hype about handmade watercolors. You know, it's so easy to get carried away when you watch people swatch, review, and unbox handmade colors. So I am super tempted, especially when it comes to the beam paints. I feel I would like to try them out, but I can kind of tell that the beam paints might have the same issue with not liking to be layered and glazed upon, and I like to build up my drawings with layering, so that painting style kind of calls for a medium that is made to do so. So that's also what's holding me back from buying the beam paints, because I think I would be disappointed. I'm not sure. I think I should maybe try and buy a little sample or something and then work with that and see if my hunch is true. Oops, that was a little bit too strong. I need to water that down a little bit. Wow, look at that quin gold just pushing to the wet areas. That's the fun thing about watercolor, especially when you do this technique right here where you simply just dump and let them kind of mix on the paper on their own, and then just have some sort of randomness. I should actually try and build in some of the creases in between the stones. But I feel that this year I am fond of the prompts so far. Of course, there are some of the prompts I think are a little bit difficult because I don't have like an idea that immediately presents itself. But it's okay. Okay, I think I need to lay in a drawing session right now just to see how pushed back some of the colors and tones will end up helping me to decide where to add more contrast. But so far I like the result. It's like very like jewel tones, is it called that? When you have this mix of colors. Yeah, I'm gonna leave this alone, let it dry up a little bit. While it's drying up, I want to work on the shading on the fence. I got an idea that light could be coming from the left. I'm just gonna coat in some shadow here. I think I'm just gonna leave the fence as white as possible. I'm not gonna put in some patina or you know, work a bunch with that, because I think it would be like a nice contrast to the rub-on. I love collaging with the rub-ons on my small drawings. I'm a little bit surprised myself how much fun I'm having out of those rub-ons that I bought. And this journal here is not like a serious, you know, it's a very playful little watercolor journal. So all the collaged items is just making it even more playful to look at. It's gonna be fun when the month is over to do a flip through of especially this little journal here, because then it's just like a collective little booklet. But yeah, today is originally the 14th, so I'm a little bit not caught up 100%, but I don't mind, you know. It's not like I have to do one every day. So it's not a chore. It's still a joyful process so far, until I get too much behind, right? But we're just getting a little bit of shading here. It kind of helps. And maybe I could get a little bit of yellow up here, I'm thinking. Just a little bit to break up the colors. If shade is cast through the right on this side here, then this one should be darker also. So I think I want to go in, yeah, maybe with this dark green to begin with. Adding in a little bit of darker foliage, at least here. And then we could have like a cast shadow. Maybe even darken up this area a bit more. But I kind of like the way that the arch turned out when it dried up, and all these jewel tones. It's much more interesting than just a gray stone wall, in my opinion. Maybe I need some sort of malachite green right here. That is such a beautiful color, the malachite green. And then I think we could have some wild strands of just grass, you know. Yeah, as you can see, it's like super quick painting session. I don't spend a lot of time on. I don't feel like, actually. That's maybe a better way to say it. I don't feel like I'm spending a lot of time on these prompts here. So it's like very light, a light feeling of having accomplished something. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry, and then we're gonna put on a rub-on. So it has dried up, and I cut the bike out from the rub-on, and let me place it down. I really like this. I know a lot of people would be screaming now, like, no, you're ruining it, you know, because they might not like the look of this, but I really like this added collaged item. It's an item, right? Or like, I don't know. It's a paste. I'm thinking I would call it like a pasted in image. I think it's fun to work with, and I don't think that I would have made by myself such a nice, intricate, detailed bike in a challenge like this, because it would be very time consuming, and I probably would hate doing the rest of the journal in the same level of detail, because it has to be done in 30 days. So in a way it's a little bit like cheating by pasting in items like this, but since it stands out so visually that this is a collaged item, I don't care. I mean, it's not like I feel that I'm cheating myself to think that I painted this bike. But I know there's probably someone who thinks that a watercolor painting shouldn't be pasted like this. I love that sound. So here it is. I like it a lot. It's just nice, super nice. Next to the arch, and I love the lavender colors. Such a lovely summer inspired color. So thank you for watching. I wish you a nice day. Bye bye.